Request from Trev and Lonnie Wild for the planting and harvesting of hay on property located at 110 East, 2750 North. Our presenter will be our city manager, Ed Dickey.
Mayor, City Council, these items tonight that I'm presenting are all Annette's items. She's not here this week, so I'm going to present them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read them, and that way the residents here, the public that's here can hear what it is that we're talking about. So the first one is, some of you may recall that we get this variance request each year. This is the variance request from Trev and Lonnie Wild to do that parcel up there. What is it they do? Is it hay? Harvest hay. Yeah, and they do it very early in the morning, and sometimes they do it a little later at night. So they need a variance because our noise ordinance ends at a certain time. So Mr. and Mrs. Wild plant and harvest hay on property located at 110 East, 2750 North. Because of the time of day that is best to do this job, it doesn't meet the noise ordinance that require no heavy machinery to start before 7 a.m. and to end at 10 p.m. The hay has to be harvested at a certain time in the early hours while the dew is still on the plant. They are requesting a variance to the ordinance. Now they'll come in every year to get this variance. It's not just a one-time deal, and that's the way council wanted it, so this is this year's request.
Ron?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the variance request from the Wilds.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if the address is different in the information we got, but it said one place 1110 East and another 1100 East. So I actually went out last night to the neighborhood to just ask residents if they had any concerns, and no one knew these people. So there was a field next door, and we thought it must have been that one. So I did get a lot of feedback from the residents if that was the right field. So do we know for sure where it is?
Yeah, I think it's that field that you're.
Okay, by you Rich Brewers?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So I asked, it was the right one then, and I talked to almost everyone that lived around there, and there was only about a quarter of the folks who did have a problem with it, and they were wondering, is this like a, and this is more information, I guess, for me, because I knew as well, is this for a whole season? Does this happen a few days, a year? Is it, do we know how often it is? Just a few days.
It's just during the hay harvesting season, so it's just a few days a year. It's when they cut their hay, which is, I guess, 3 times a year? Or 4 or 5.
If you're lucky.
Depending on the year. Okay. So yes, it's just for the time they're harvesting hay.
So what I did find from the neighbors then was, about 1 in 4 did have a problem and asked it not to go forward, but the majority said it isn't that big of a deal.
Okay, any other comments or questions? I think this is a little bit, I guess I'm pleased that the Wilds would come in and ask for this variance, because a lot of people would just go ahead and do it, and our ordinance would prohibit that kind of work during those hours, and so I'm pleased and that they would come in, they'd make the effort to take this step, and so that's my feelings. Any other comments? We'll start with a voice roll call vote again then. Martha?
Yes.
And Ron?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
Okay, it's approved unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Dickey will present that.
I was just trying to get it all together here. Okay, at the March 30th, 2010 City Council meeting, the council voted to change the contract to allow Harrisville contestants to compete in the Miss North Ogden pageant. Council requires that at least 8 North Ogden girls must be competing before there can be. That comes in the resolution is where it says it's to see Exhibit B, and it's 1, 2, and 3 of that. And I think they're highlighted, and that's what I handed out, because we had to make a few changes there, so that's why I gave you that handout. So we're just asking council to approve this new resolution, allowing Harrisville to have contestants in the pageant.
Are there comments from the council?
I mean, this is just the formality of what was done last time?
Yeah, this is just adding Harrisville in our resolution, there's Exhibit B. That's the whole reason we have to bring it back.
Well, as far as discussion goes, I'm still against that. They pay $1,700 for a girl to enter and she wins. It costs the taxpayers of North Ogden City $8,300 to have a Harrisville resident win the pageant. And if it's a Miss North Ogden pageant, it should be just North Ogden residents. And we say, well, if it's just one girl or two girls or whatever, we're gambling, you know, whether they win or not. And if you want to gamble with your own money, then that's one thing. I'm personally not a gambler, but to gamble with taxpayers' money, I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me at all to have somebody from another city where we're flipping the bill.
What it does do, and they could, that person could win, we don't know that, but it does save the city $1,750 whether they win or not, because the pageant won't be held unless there's 8 contestants from North Ogden. So we're gonna pay that amount either way.
But if they win, it just costs us $8,300. I'd rather pay $10,000 for a car and know I get the car. I don't get any benefit out of it whatsoever. You know, if they're winning, and if they win, they get a $1,500 scholarship, which there's the money they put into it. And we paid all the rest of it. But if it was my money, it might be different if I had the money to help support it, but it's not my money, and I just don't feel like it's the right policy to gamble with, you know, to spend, you know, hard workers from North Ogden, their taxpayer money, to have somebody from Harrisville or another. Ron?
Question I've got, is this something that would be ongoing, or is this something just we're looking at just for this year, the way this ordinance is written?
The example Harrisville to participate. The reason we're having this discussion now and having this ordinance is because it's required under the Miss USA pageant rules to have this document. It has to be by resolution, and that's the reason we're bringing it before you at this particular time.
But I think, Ed, you just said, do we know how many North Ogden girls there are?
Last I heard there's 8.
8, okay, and so far that's
I
it?
don't know exactly, I don't, would you able to get what the name? Last she told me before she left, there was 8 signed up, and they're all from North Ogden.
Yeah, and that, you know, I just think it's good for us to combine what we can with other communities. I mean, we talked before about trying to combine potentially the celebrations around the 4th of July. Combine with another city to save our taxpayer money is a win for our taxpayers. So just commend the staff who put this together.
This year, there's really no need for this, right, is there? I mean, the deadline's passed and there's nobody sent it from Harrisville. This is a new point.
Well, the council voted 2 weeks ago to allow Harrisville to participate, and my understanding is this is required as part of those rules, so
Okay.
it's
And
not,
we did the agenda before.
it's not necessarily moot, but it is in a way, but in another way it's not. This is the way I see it. Is there further comment? Martha?
Mr. Mayor, I was not present at the time this was discussed, but being that it was a passed item, I will support that. Therefore, I would like to make the motion that we approve Resolution 5-2010, amending the Miss North Ogden pageant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Okay, we'll start with Wade.
No.
Brent?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Martha?
Yes.
And Ron? Yes. The motion carries 4-2. Thank you. Council.
4-1.
4-1, excuse me.
Count for 2, right?
Well, you know, I can't cheat on 4 so.